Hello everybody, good evening. Welcome to Speed Gaming 2 for tonight's Link to the Past Randomizer daily race between Howard and Mario and Sawyer. This is a spoiler race, open 7-7, so it should be pretty excited. I'm Aria Stark, 2942. I'm joined by tracking by Solid, and our setup was homemade beer. And as we noted at the outset here, this is spoiler. The players in this race, there are 6 of them competing, and we have 2 here on Restream, received a spoiler log that they get to parse for 15 minutes, try to come up with the best route that they can, and then go from there. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what routes the players come up with, how they try to work in safeties, how much health they're going to allot themselves, all while trying to beat the game as quickly as possible. And the 15-minute countdown seems to be coming down to the wire here on part of Mario and Sawyer's side, and we are underway. So, both starting at Sank. Sawyer's going to open it for the small key. Howard and Mario deciding to pass on that. And there's a lot of information within the spoiler log. Again, not only dungeon info as to the crystal pendant layout, but also all of the item information, the tree poles, bush crabs, a whole bunch of stuff. And we're getting some early divergence here. Sawyer heading up into the Lost Woods while Howard Mario heads directly to Blind Side. Sawyer dropping down. Gonna pick up half magic. That's great to have for the full C. Power Mario getting a full heart. The lamp and the blue boomerang here in the back of Blind's hut. And conveniences like the lamp just to make things easier if you have to go into some dungeons on low health, even if you're just mining them for things. It's very helpful early in a seed like this. Mario also picking up a bottle as he drops into the well, and another full heart, so this is pretty good for health. Grabbing $100 as well, and a single rupee for good measure. So we're going to follow that early path we saw from PTM. And a glove there, so that 100 rupees in the well, immediately useful. And yeah, Power Mario is heading out of here. Let's see where he opts to go with this early glove and lamp, and it could be a play up the mountain here. Not that much in play early on. But again, the spoiler log, a lot of plays in which you beeline to progression may look unusual at the outset, but it's a pretty big time save there. And Sawyer picking up the bottle that Power Mario also grabbed in that well, grabbing his money, passing on the single rupee. Up his glove. And Sawyer's going to continue on. There is a sword from our friend Gary up there on the mountain. So that is, nice early save and quit point. Free sword. Pretty solid there for PTM. Sawyer gonna go to Sawyer did pick up an extra 20 in Blind Side. He's picking up a 20 here in the tavern. He's gonna go buy bombs. And resources are not always super easy to come by. We do see Power Mario showing a little game knowledge there. The 50-50 rock outside Link's house, and hit that for a single bomb. So Sawyer with the save and quit. We might see, both of them heading here to the back of Escape. It'll be interesting to see what is here in the back of Escape. There's the hammer and the moon pearl. So that is Dark World access already for Power to Mario and Sawyer. Sawyer, again, did pick up that small key. He is heading to Dark Cross. So there is something here in Dark Cross that has piqued Sawyer's interest. Howard Mario, on the other hand, is heading back to Kakariko, likely to go into the Village of Outcast and or the Skullwoods area. And there's 300 rupees in Dark Cross, so that is interesting. Again, neither player with much in the way of money. Sawyer's ensuring that if he does need to make an early play toward Pod, that he has Kiki money. Do still need 110 rupees for the couple things around Village of Outcasts. I will note that the only thing in the spoiler that I did take a look at, that was the pendant crystal layout, so it's like the audience not informed about any dungeon info. Skullwoods, though, is one of the 256 crystals, and Power to Mario is heading up here. Does not presently have the fire rod, but there could be something here in the front of Skull that could be useful elsewhere. And it is the Canis of Mario, which is hard required in this seed. So that is a nice find. It could indicate that that Samaria will be useful earlier rather than later, or it could just be a situation in which Power Mario wants to make sure he gets it, with the potential that Skullwoods might not be beatable for a little while, depending on where that fire rod is. And Power Mario getting bodied a little bit as he tried to open Thieves Town. You don't usually see the thief make it all the way down there, but it did on this occasion. PTM is into Thieves. Thieves is the green pendant. Again, in a standard open 7-7 mode, you might not necessarily make Pendant Thieves one of your first Dark World forays here, but the spoiler log can change a lot about that dynamic. Power Mario picking up the big key, which again is demonstrating an indication that he's probably going to head to the back, and Bombos. And I believe the vanilla big key chest of Thieves Town. So yeah, Power Mario is continuing. Sawyer meanwhile set up a fake flipper here. He's going to check out our friend under the bridge. What important item is here? It's a second sword. All right. That is a sword that Power Mario will probably find a way to route in at some point. But when you're at low health and potentially facing a lot of Dark World stuff, having a little additional firepower is always nice. And we do have a pretty significantly different route between these two players, which is interesting to see. So we're heading up toward the front of Escape here. And okay. This is interesting. So Sawyer has Aga access. He picked up that second sword so he could break the barrier. Now, obviously the players have, full Dark World access right now. Sawyer is making an Aga play, which would obviously strongly indicate that there is something on Lumberjack Ledge that's going to be needed in this seed. Obviously not obtainable yet without the boots, but there's really no other reason for Sawyer to be making this play. Yeah, so that is interesting. Power to Mario, meanwhile, is running low on health here as he gets deep into Thieves Town, down to a half a heart. Has to be a little bit careful. Sun prize only a single rupee, so that's not going to help him. Does have to be careful here in the very back of Thieves. there's an extra and a very nice magic drop too. Zyzak, so that definitely helps. PTM's saving blind here. Oh, does take another hit. So whatever is on blind and or the pendant is what PTM is after here in Thieves Town. And we did see Powder Mario pick up Bombos in the front, which is, I mean, Bombos has a lot of uses, especially in Ice Palace and low percent. It is not the medallion for either Maya or TR, so there's that. PTM here trying to work that blind script, definitely needs it. He's down to a half a heart. And, ooh, oh, that is tough. Powder Mario is doing a great job in that fight, but just got sniped by one of the fireballs here. As we see, Sawyer has made his way to the back of Aga Tower. And yeah, and this is a huge aspect of spoiler, which is you're often put in a lot of low percent situations. Green mail in the Dark World, there are a lot of things that hit hard. So it's gonna be round 2 for Powder Mario. Gonna use some Samaria strats, maybe some Fire Beam strats, although these Samaria blocks are just not cooperating. So here is into the Aga fight. Powder Mario doing a decent job of keeping distance here against blind. Takes a couple fireball shots. This last phase, honestly, you'd probably rather get blind to the bottom now. And there it is. Good job there by Powder Mario. Staying away from blind and is rewarded with flippers here in the red pendant. He doesn't even want the pendant, so that indicates to us that pedestal is not a concern. But Powder Mario did beat blind. Here comes away with the flippers. PTM taking a moment here to think, and again, this is a thing that can happen in spoiler. Again, you have 15 minutes to parse the log. It's a very stressful time trying to figure out where everything is, how you can route it all in, how to best optimize things on top of that. And sometimes, a thing pops up in your head, maybe I should be doing this instead of that. But Powder Mario is going to follow Sawyer's earlier lead here to the guy under the bridge, going to pick up his second sword. And save and quit from there. So we will see where he opts to go after this. Sawyer is making his way south here off the pyramid. And heading to Hype Cave, which could be where PTM is heading as well. We do have the players coming back together a little bit here after some very significant divergence. So we're just picking up everything in Hype Cave, but it's the bow in the back, that's the important thing. They're grabbing some extra arrows along with that bow. It's pretty nice. Both players have that now. Eastern and Pod are both clearable. They're both crystals. And both players are heading to the Pod area. The one concern here for if Powder Mario heads to Pod, he only has 22 rupees right now. So that might be a thing that sneaks up on him. Sawyer did grab that 300 from Dark Cross. Yeah, Powder Mario's just realized, I think, that, oh shoot, I am short on money, and I'm very short on money, so even trying to farm off of enemies or something could be tough. He's going to give it a shot here. Yeah, so Power Mario's gonna have to take a little pause here for a moment to find some money in order to continue his route, or maybe change course here while Sawyer enters pod. And again, that's a tough thing, you know, trying to find resources in a typical mode, Kaz boots, open 7-7 without a spoiler log. You're opening so many chests that you're coming across money almost by default. Yeah, Houlihan is often and that is what PTM is setting up here. You know, uses that alternate method, bomb into the grave, do the Houlihan. And again, he did still have the option to grab that small key from Sanctuary that Sawyer grabbed at the outset and take that into Dark Cross. But it looks like PTM is probably going to aim to now do Eastern first and then head into pod. While Sawyer is making his way here on the Bowlock side of pod. Obviously, the major point of divergence thus far between the two players, Power to Mario went into Village of Outcast, beat Blind in Thieves Town to get his flippers, and Swamp is a crystal, so those flippers are required. Sawyer, meanwhile, opted to make an early Aga play, which definitely indicates that there is probably something of great significance on Lumberjack once the boots are obtained. The players did meet back up in their hopes to go to pod. Unfortunately, Power to Mario ran into some money trouble, but did a good job of thinking on his feet there. Did cost a little bit of time, but he's going to be able to knock out Eastern here and then head to pod. And Sawyer obviously coming into pod here with no mirror. If there's anything in the back, it's going to be really long-winded to go do that. So Sawyer's opting to head straight to the boss. We'll see if he re-enters afterwards, if there is anything that he needs in the back of pod. And I believe right now we are listening to Sawyer's MSU. Oh no, we were using Power to Mario's MSU, which is Final Fantasy 13. Yes, Scary Olive notes in chat. Sawyer's using Star Fox when we hear his audio. Two really nice MSUs. Again, it's always fun to see the different MSUs that folks like to use. Yep, there's Helm Sword down on Sawyer's side. Power Mario now heading to the back of Eastern. And Blue Mail on Helma, that is really nice. You know, obviously, you'd love to be able to get mail upgrades when you're facing a low percentage situation that can often arise in Spoiler, and a free one like that on a crystal boss early in the seed is always nice. Power Mario got a little bit loose here with the Eastern Palace boss fight against the Armos Knights. Trying to time it up to get rid of them, but yeah, sometimes you miss one shot or your timing gets off, and it's just a little bit unfortunate, but good job by Power to Mario cleaning that up for his first crystal. And Sawyer did re-enter pod here, so he needed to grab a small key. We'll see what he is going to aim for here. We also see if Power to Mario did pick up the Tempered Sword. I think I may have mentioned that. Hopefully I did. If not, he has a Tempered Sword. And yeah, Saha is of no interest to PTM, so he is going to head to Pod now. So that extra sword in Eastern's very nice. Certainly like it. Sawyer's going to surely pick that up before the end of the seed. The question will be here after Sawyer's done in Pod, what's going to be the next play? And whatever comes out from the back here may inform that choice. And there's the hook shot, and yep, Sawyer's done. So hook shot there in the back of Pod does open up additional checks on the mountain. Obviously going to be hard required for Swamp Palace. And Sawyer's going to take that hook shot up the mountain here. Again, Eastern had a sword, but that's not progression. It's probably just going to be something nice to have at the end of the seed. So Eastern Palace may wind up actually being one of Sawyer's final dungeons here. And our pendants in this seed. Check. I believe that it is Thieves, TR, and Desert. Actually, could be wrong. I think that's what it said in the log. Sawyer up here in Paradox Cave picking up Cane of Burna. And there's another sword. Another 300 rupees. Oh, and I missed the mitts at the bottom too. So, yeah. A lot of things opening up now for the players. Between the two players here, what are we looking for? Well, the fact that Sawyer beat Aga again makes one think that the boots are going to be required at some point. Definitely need the flute. Definitely need Quake for Misery Mire. And the mirror for Swamp Palace. And oh, Fire Rod for the back of Skull Woods as well. So Sawyer opted to take these mitts directly to Dark East Death Mountain, eschewing the possibility of knocking out a Crystal Hera now, which again could provide some insight that Hera has nothing. That could be a very end of the seed play. Power to Mario is opting to head to the back of Pod here, right off the bat. So he's going to pick up his hook shot here in the Rupee basement. So you're into Hookshot Cave, and there is the mirror. Along with the red boomerang, another full heart, and silvers. Alright, well. Sawyer is, oh, it looked like he might have been heading up to Floating Island, but it was actually to grab that extra heart. And with that mirror in tow, Sawyer can in fact knock out Hera now. Silver arrows to get rid of a Lionel. Alright, Darko Summit saying might have read the wrong spoiler log. I will double check on that, and I apologize for anything that's off. And yeah, it did come up incorrect for me, so I apologize. Yeah, so Meyer is actually our tracker solid doing a great job. Thank you for that correction. Yep, so as our tracker has correctly noted, it is Beachtown, Meyer, and Turtle Rock that are the three pendants with the bombos that our players have, or that is already in Power to Mario's inventory, so we'll get that when he goes to Beachtown. All right. Anyway, Sawyer has defeated our good friend Moldorm for his second crystal. Power Mario making short work of Helmasaur for his second crystal. Does pick up that blue mail. Sawyer taking a couple extra seconds to grab an additional heart piece, which I think gave him an extra heart. He's up to 7 now, which is pretty nice. So given what Sawyer came away with up on the mountain, it would feel likely that Power to Mario will likely follow that lead, and yeah, that is indeed the case here. So right now, for Sawyer, he needs those flippers that are in Thieves Town on Pendant Blind. And there's the Fire Rod just hanging out in Cave 45. So that is a beatable Skull Woods here. And with the mitts, this actually routes in pretty decently for Sawyer. Power to Mario going up to the mountain, grabbing his mitts. He is surely going to find his mirror in Hookshot Cave. And then his gold sword for Power to Mario. Our fourth sword, or what would be Sawyer's fourth sword, is in Eastern. Sawyer will likely be getting back to that later. But he's going to make this Thieves Town play. We did see it on Power to Mario's side early. And the one big point of divergence is Sawyer making that really early Aga play. And obviously, since it's a spoiler log, we're not going to see anybody go peak Lumberjack Ledge, but that is the intriguing thing to see what is potentially there that is of such great interest. Yeah, that is, and Scary Olive noting in chat, it is almost certainly, basically Book or Flute, the desert access that is on Lumberjack. Power Mario opening up TR, and that is a pendant. The fact that he did open it is very intriguing. There's the mirror for Power to Mario. Also going to pick up his silver arrows. And Power Mario's heading right back over to Turtle Rock. So this is another situation where, in a vacuum, in a normal 7-7, you would seem very unlikely that you would be diving these pendant dungeons, especially with clearable crystals on the horizon. But Power to Mario is in here for a reason. And the reason is the flute. And that is interesting. When Sawyer was up here, he did not have that Bombos to open Turtle Rock. So Power to Mario making that play to Thieves Town early. He did take a death on blind, but he came out of it with Bombos. He came out of it with the flippers. He was able to loop that in with his trip up the mountain. So yeah, that is pretty interesting because that is access to desert. I mean, the same thing that could hang up desert is the same thing that prevents one from getting the lumberjack item, which is the boots, which we have not seen. So, It'll be very intriguing to see how this one concludes. And Sawyer right now onto the blind fight. When I was going to pick up his flippers here. Over to Mario, meanwhile making use of those flippers in Swamp Palace. Nice job of the blind fight there by Sawyer. Beating blind, grabbing the flippers. So Sawyer does have the ability to beat Crystal Skullwoods right now, which definitely looks like that is where he is headed. Power to Mario going straight to the back of Swamp Palace. Good job picking up a pretty free heart piece and grabbing a few of those along the way can definitely be beneficial. We did see it on Sawyer's side. It got him up to, I think, his 7th heart, and there are the boots in the back of Swamp. Yeah, so for Power to Mario, I believe it's just Fire Rod for Go, which is going to be pretty easy to grab after Swamp Palace. Mario making quick work of the Argus Pups. Single silver arrow, and Argus is down. It does look like Sawyer did pick up half magic. I missed where he got that. I'm assuming in Skullwoods. You got it in the first item. Thank you, Solid. There is the Fire Rod for PTM, which, unless I'm blanking on something, could put him in Go. Good job in the moth fight there by Sawyer. It's crystal number 3 on Sawyer's side. Players even up in crystals here, but Power to Mario has a little bit of an advantage, I would say. Already having that flute in tow, has the boots. And it's going to be a lot easier for him to get around to these last handful of dungeons that he has to beat. Sawyer is likely going to follow PTM's lead here into Swamp. So he'll get his boots. And that could segue straight into Ice as well and knock that out. But he does almost certainly need to get to TR for that flute, unless we do have a situation perhaps that it is book on Lumberjack, and that would be his means of getting into Desert. And we shall see. And while we have a moment, the command might not be up. Please do give these racers a follow. Power to Mario, Sawyer, they were both in the Mentor tournament with me last year. Really great people, fun to engage with. And obviously, as we see here, excellent players, and they're putting on a great show today. And again, major thanks as well to our tracker Solid and Homemade Beer, who's been helping get a lot of these dailies going here as we get back into the swing a bit, as League is entering playoffs. Thank you, Solid, for the links to our runners. I appreciate it very, very much. And they're both doing a great job, and I know both are relatively on the newer side to Spoiler, which is a really challenging mode, and they've done a terrific job thus far. And PTM here, just getting some pretty crummy luck here from the spikes in the moth fight. And oof, deftly works his way around those spikes for the final hit. Very good job there. That is crystal number 4 on Power to Mario's side. Sawyer here coming up to the back of Swamp, so he's going to pick up his boots in a moment. But it does kind of feel like that flute is going to be a pretty significant edge here for PTM. He has Desert and Ice to finish up before heading up to Ganon's Tower, where he will likely do a quick mirror, do Hera, then open GT and go from there. Sawyer's picked up his boots, so he still has a few dungeons to finish after that. Again, he'll probably head to Ice after this, and then we will see if there's some payoff from that early Aga play. And very, very nice job there on the Argus fight by Sawyer. So, draws back even in the crystal count with 4. Again, this has been a fairly decent seed in terms of firepower. The swords have all been on the way. I mean, we see PTM is on gold sword, silver arrows. There was a male on a crystal boss in Power House of Darkness. There have been a decent amount of hearts. PTM on 6, Sawyer at 8. So all things considered, it has not been as bad of a grind or have some of the key things buried as much as plenty of other spoiler seeds are. So Sawyer finished Swamp here, and he's heading up the mountain. You have note in chat, we did have the fire sources were pretty easy to come by too. Again, that early lamp is very nice. Negated any possibility of having to do some kind of awkward dark room checks if you're trying to push a key item that could be buried in odd or something. But Sawyer's heading up the mountain here, and yeah, it definitely looks like this is a TR play for that flute. So we will check after the match what the AGA play was for. PTM has made quick work of Land Molas in Desert Palace. It's crystal number 5, and he's going to flute off to Ice. It's going to be our first look at Ice. Yeah, there's, to answer Scary Olive in chat, yeah, AGA could have just been, it very well could have been a brain fart. Yeah, and as I'm actually to give a very quick look at the spoiler log now that you know, both our players are about to be in go. The lumberjack tree is just, well, I'm assuming I actually have the correct one this time. If I do. Just 20 rupees, I believe. They didn't they did not use it for Dark World. They actually had pretty clean, easy early Dark World access. Glove, hammer, pearl, and it's very possible it was just a brain fart. And again, spoiler is a stressful thing. Say from my own experience, and the one tournament race I ran that had spoiler, I confused Saha's hut with Saha himself, and I kind of messed up a route a little bit, and it happens. So it could have just been a misread or, you know, misrecording something. And yeah, it happens to everybody. But Sawyer's done a good job, even with that, well, as it turns out, slight bit of time loss for that AGA climb. He does have his flute now, it is activated. But yeah, Power to Mario's route has been able to loop in things a lot more cleanly, and having that Bombos on hand when he went up the mountain to get that flute is pretty much the key point here at the end of this seed. And really, for both players, there's not terribly much more they can want for. Obviously, we saw Power to Mario with Shu picking up the half magic back by Skull Woods, so he will be on regular magic the rest of the way. Does have gold sword and silvers. He also did pass on picking up the Kana Burna. But does have Blue Mail, does get a nice extra heart there off a Cold Stare, and that is crystal number 6. For Power to Mario, so he is going to head up the mountain, likely hop into the TR portal, and then mirror to Hera before doing GT. Sawyer, meanwhile, making his way to the back of Desert. And yeah, so Power to Mario, the very nice fight. Gold Sword definitely makes it a lot more comfortable, for sure, but Power to Mario did an excellent job of having complete control throughout that fight. It's very impressive. Since boots were so late, we haven't gotten to see a lot of dashes here. But both players shown pretty skilled dash lines here in a couple of areas in which we actually get to use boots in this seed. Sawyer now here, back of Desert, has these silvers for Lamos. 1, 2, 3 silvers, and that fight is over. Shield there for Sawyer, but more importantly, crystal number 5 on the board for him. Sawyer still has Ice and Eastern left. Power to Mario, as expected, going into that TR portal. He's gonna quickly knock out Hera here. We did see this on Sawyer's side. There really was not much of consequence. Not even sure if he actually even picked anything up outside of beating the boss. So that one mini Moldorm did not want to get out of the way to set up the Hera pot. And yeah, it is going to be a beeline to Moldorm for Power to Mario. Sawyer into Eastern. We do know that the fourth sword is here. And it does look like... Oh, I think it was the big key here at the outset, yeah. I don't actually recall where the sword was for PTM. Let's see if Sawyer picks it up. He is on tempered with silvers though, so... Oh, Sawyer is heading right, so that's probably the pickup of this last sword. That is crystal number 7 for Power to Mario, and normally we would play a game where we guess where the big key is, but Power to Mario knows where the big key is. So he's going to be bypassing most of the things that aren't the big key. So as to get to it as quickly as possible. Tracker Solid says 1. We have a guess of 2. We will see. I mean, I guess we could count the torch if he bypasses it as a check. We'll see how many things he actually gets. Well, he's not going to get the torch. Is he going to need to go into Stalfos' room to grab keys? That is the drama here. And we are going into Stalfos' room. We are bombosing the Stalfos, alright. And now there's the first item that has been picked up, and it is a small key. Sawyer is making his way into the back of Eastern. Double firebar room for Power to Mario is a hard pass. Some very nice boomerang and hookshot strats there. Sawyer into the Armos fight. Usually counted. we can play by any rules that folks want. That is true, we do usually count it even if it's not picked up. But technically all those chests were also seen but not picked up, so I don't know. Power Mario is going to, at the very least, Bob's chest here. Hopefully it doesn't mirror. There's the big key. There it is. It's the second thing he actually grabbed. Well, we were at the very least in no mode before the timer started. Sawyer did make a quick little pit stop after Eastern. Grabbed a potion here. He's going to head to Ice. Power Mario has to be careful here. This room has gotten a little squirrely, and yeah, taking a death. Does have that fairy though, so he's going to be able to continue here on this climb. Yeah, one thing we did not see in this seed, which would certainly be helpful in a situation like this, is the powder. So right now Power Mario does not have anything in reserve, does not actually have any safety of any kind. The plus side is he has a great amount of firepower. So very nice dash there in the crystal room with the spikes from Power to Mario. Sawyer is into Ice Palace. This is his 7th crystal dungeon. Alright, and there we go, makes that icebreaker work. Good job sticking with that. Sawyer needs a key. Oh, is there a key here? No, no bailout key. He's got to go back up top, unfortunately. Yeah, that's another tough thing to remember in a spoiler mode. Again, you're putting together so many things at once, trying to find all the key items, the progression to set up a route, and you have a dungeon like Ice, which you're just go moding. But even with Icebreaker, you do still need a key to get through this door here. And when you're just probably getting toward the end of parsing your log, the time's getting low, it's very easy to forget about the small key situation. Good job by Sawyer keeping his head, going with it. And Power Mario using that hookshot to dupe the heart under the pot. It was definitely helpful. He was down to 2 hearts at that point, so he was able to double his health. So you're dropping into the Cold Stare fight. Power to Mario here. And first Torch's room on the climb. And a very nice Cold Stare fight by Sawyer. That is crystal number 7 on his side. So he will soon be joining Power to Mario in Ganon's Tower. PTM doesn't need to steal a helmet key here. Yeah, he remembers that. Good job. Again, another thing that's very easy to slip your mind. Another very easy Moldorm fight for Power to Mario. Let's see if there's anything in our final... Nope, we're not going to check that out. Nothing of interest. Sawyer, meanwhile, heading up the mountain. PTM down to 3 hearts here, 2.5 hearts. Again, the note in chat, he does have a second bottle. I'm not sure what is in the bottle. He'd surely love to save that for the Ganon fight, if there is anything of substance. Pretty nice setup here to start. Aga 2. It's hopefully a triple. Oh, very nice job of staying firm there and getting that second shot in the face of the blue balls. Looks like they did not credit him with the triple on the first one. There you go. Very nice Aga 2 fight from Power to Mario. Yeah, it is true that Gold Sword Ganon is basically free, but, you know, at this point you just need one little slip up on Blue Mail, though, and it can get very, very tricky. But we've seen some great play from both players in these boss fights. And Power to Mario is going to be the first of our 2 players here on Restream to drop into Ganon as Sawyer is opening GT. And Ganon giving us more critical cheese facts. Does enjoy talking about cheese. That is canon at this point. Power to Mario, using the hookshot strats there. He's gotten more than enough hits there with the gold sword. Now just needs to avoid these bats. Oh, and that is unfortunately exactly what's being talked about in chat. Got to avoid those fire bats there. He was doing a really great job in that fight, but drops in now with twice as much health as he originally entered. Yeah, unfortunately did not avoid the bat, enough of the bats. Got most of them, but you know, Power Mario right back into it. Yeah, good job reading the formation there. It's a kind of unusual spawn spot for Ganon. There we go. Bats avoided this time. So Power Mario here's into phase 3. And gold sword, silver arrows. He's gonna be in a pretty good spot. Sawyer is making his way to the big key of Ganon's tower. There's a silver shot. He's got Ganon in a solid position for at least a double. couldn't quite get the triple, but there it is. That is silver arrow number 4 into Ganon. So get your GGs in chat for Power to Mario. He's going to be our winner here on Restream. 4th overall with an official race time.gg time of 109.20, but when you take away the 15 minutes for parsing the log, it is the 54-minute 20-second time that we do see on PTM's timer here on screen. So very nicely done by Power to Mario. And we are joined in chat by the winner of our race here on stream, Power to Mario. GG's.
Darn it, darn it, darn it. Thanks.
What are the darnets for? A couple of deaths?
I mean, Ganon death might have been all right if the warp patterns became more favorable at the end, but I had Venter if I didn't die there, I think.
Yeah, what you're alluding to is it was a very close race overall. You know, P-Train coming in first at 105.55, and this includes the 15-minute timer.
Yeah.
Moogle Charm 106.46, and Vinter just ahead of you at 108.46, but you did snipe Shire by 4 seconds.
Yay! I did Thieves Town out of order, I realized, and because in the middle of planning the spoiler log, it's like, oh yeah, cool, we don't have to go to do any pendants. So far, this is great. And then about a minute and a half left before go time, I look at, okay, so let's plan my route. Let's look at Desert Palace.
Yeah.
And then I found where the flute was, and I'm like, I was scrambling the last minute and a half trying to fit a visit to Turtle Rock somewhere in there. And I think I did okay getting that in while I was up on the mountain. So
that was a big point of honestly, that's, between you and Sawyer, that was the thing that swung this race the most. The only other divergence is Sawyer did beat Aga, which we'll probably check with him. It could have just been a misread or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you doing Thieves, picking up Bombos, and being able to loop that flute in with those Dark Death Mountain checks was really what opened things up, because he went up to Dark Death Mountain, he got some of that stuff before you. He was able to get into Pod earlier because he had that unfortunate situation with the lack of money. But not being able to get that flute forced him to do a couple extra trips to places.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think if I could do this back, the Thieves Town before Mountain was good. I probably would have fake flippered to the sword on Hobo with the bow and the bombs, and then done my Eastern Pod play, and then went ahead and did Thieves Town after that, instead of the other way around like I did, because that gives you armor. I figured when I was at half heart blind, I'm like, I know the blind script, it's okay, and I got like slightly out of position on phase 2, and I'm like,
yeah.
And I freaked out. So
yeah, you did a really good job of pulling it out the second time, though, because obviously when you get off script, especially low health, everything hits hard, and you did a really good job in that second fight, though, of getting through the first phases cleanly.
Yeah, that last phase was a little Monka-esque, the Kane positioning, waiting for him to go down, trying to dodge everything. I'm like,
he was very evasive when it came to your Kane place. Like, you're placing these Samaria blocks. I'm like, all right, here's 2 hits right now, and he's just like, nah, I'm going over and under all of these.
Yeah, there was probably a better place to put it, honestly.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like, you stuck with it, though. You stuck with it after that Ganon fight. The only question that was kind of asked in chat, I think there was a safety available maybe up on the mountain.
Berna.
Berna, yeah.
I saw it and I'm like, shrug.
Yeah.
In hindsight. And you know what? Honestly, it's probably just holdover from the transition from slow to fast ROM. I'm so used to leaving it behind in modes like this.
Oh, yeah.
That Oh, wait a minute. Burna's viable as like a sprint strat for GT, so I probably could have taken that in with me and used it.
Yeah, there was that. And the only other I think safety that Sawyer had over you was half magic.
Yes, that was an easy pickup, but I was thinking because I'm gonna have plenty of magic with Bombus and Fire Rod anyway, with the gold sword and the silver, like a combination of those things. Like the time to get the half magic didn't feel worth it. I already had enough health safety and magic safety with the other items. So I'm like, yeah, I don't need this seed. Maybe in another seed, like if it was like forcing a Master Sword, then maybe I pick that up. But I don't think in this one it does make a difference.
Yeah, that's totally reasonable. I mean, this was in terms of firepower, you guys were in pretty decent position. I mean, to both finish on gold swords and silvers pretty easily, and have that melee that you mentioned just be hanging on a crystal boss, which is really nice. So you don't have to worry about routing that in
exactly on the way. Yeah, it's uncommon in my experience with spoiler to have that. So.
Yeah, and as we see here, Sawyer, very nice job with the Ganon fight. Clutched it out on a heart and a half. So get your GGs in chat for Sawyer. He's going to be a second finisher here on Restream. And there he goes. Official race time.gg time of 1:15:33 minus the 15 minutes. That's, hour 33. I mean, for both of you, these are really nice times for spoiler open.
Yeah, the other thing too is in the middle of that seed, the Houlihan, I was freaking out because I'm like, okay, I need rupees, and I was searching the spoiler log because that's where I was pausing a couple times. And I'm like, oh, there's no easy rupees on the. Oh, I can just get some free ones right away. And yeah. There's a little short circuit in the middle of that seed. But yeah, this is pretty straightforward. Pretty easy as far as weapons, like you said.
Yeah, the money situation, Sawyer was able to allay that by he grabbed the small key and sank right off the bat, and then when he
got to do Dark Cross,
he did Dark Cross for I don't know if it was 100 or 300 rupees, but
300, I think. Yeah, Yep, and if you do it fast with Darkroom, it's absolutely.
Yeah, and I think you both had the lamp at that point, so it was actually pretty.
Yes, you had to get the glove, and then you could go. Yeah, smart.
Yeah, so that routed in, but again, like, we both know, and the chat was talking about it a lot. Just parsing a semi-coherent route in that 15-minute window is a pretty good feat, and there's always going to be a couple little loose ends here or there. But your route was really solid, and especially the very end of that game. I mean, you put on a pretty nice show in a lot of these dungeons and these quick boss kills, so it was really impressive to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really fun to have all the items you want, and then just, hey, I only need these keys. Boop, boop, boop. Dungeon done, dungeon done, dungeon done. Just quick succession, be able to do that. Yeah. It's super fun with the boots to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice that the boots, they came probably a little bit later than you guys would have liked, but at least you were able to have them for, the last 4 dungeons or so, plus GT, so it limited the sadness of having to walk around without boots.
Yeah, I kind of had you do a lot to get there.
Yeah.
And you could have just... No, there's no way to sensibly... Oh, hey, I'm just going to go get my mirror off of Death Mountain and not get your flute. I imagine nobody in this race apparently overlooked the fact that you needed the flute to get to GT. But I can imagine in a big group race that's something that's, I really want to get the boots fast, but then I'll forget about that while I'm up there.
Yeah, obviously, any spoiler setting, you'd love to have those mobility items as quickly as you can. Sometimes the seed cooperates, and sometimes it doesn't. but yeah, I think your route was really good. And again, just a really impressive performance and a good job of the couple things that didn't go your way. You bouncing back and doing a great job.
Thank you.
Any final thoughts about the seed or anything else?
Not particularly. I always love to play a spoiler. Thanks, Sawyer, for agreeing to do a restream race. And who's anyone? Are you tracking today?
No,
also,
Solid is tracking.
solid. Thank you so much.
And yes, now Sawyer unfortunately had something he had to pass on the interview for. But I mean, again, major GGs to both of you for, again, you step up. I know both of you, like myself, relatively new to spoiler on the whole. So being willing to hop up on Restream and again, put on an awesome show for everybody is really great. So that is going to wrap it up for us tonight here on Speed Gaming 2. Again, major thank yous to Solid for handling the tracking and also keeping me on track when I might have been reading the wrong spoiler log, because I have a few of them saved on my computer and I think I pulled the wrong one up. So I appreciate that. We all need to get kept on track, and that's why we have trackers. And major thank you to Homemade Beer as well for setting things up. That is it for us tonight, I believe, for Link to the Past Rando. I'm trying to check our league Discord here just to see if there are no more matches on the docket today. There are league playoff matches getting underway tomorrow, and there are quite a few of them. Channel's not yet set, but keep tuned in. There are a bunch of Saturday and Sunday league matches on the docket. And
Shoutouts to Joy of Rando.
yes. I will be subjected to running a spoiler seed myself tomorrow. And as always, we have the Open Weekly on Sunday at 5:30 Eastern. And again, if anybody in chat is interested in volunteering in any form or fashion, there have been links that have been posted in the chat. Check out the Speed Gaming Discord for up-to-date schedules and opportunities to volunteer. But yeah, thanks everybody. Thank you, Power to Mario and Sawyer, for putting on a great show, and hope everybody has a great night.